Welcome to Unit 1 in our New Mexico History course. This unit is designed to introduce you to the course as well as to the study of history. Throughout this course, I will post these kinds of introduction videos that give kind of an overview and some context for what you will need to expect in the coming unit in terms of not only work, but in terms of the historical context that we'll be studying. I have left a few older videos in place because um, they still speak to what we will be studying in that unit, and I've had to create a few new ones. If you find something in an intro video that doesn't seem to fit or doesn't seem to work anymore, seems outdated, please let me know. I've checked to try to weed those things out, but I think that it always kind of works its way in with these kinds of things in online classes, so please let me know if you find anything like that so that I can update it. In terms of Unit 1, you'll need to create an avatar, complete introductions on the discussion board, and register for Twitter. You'll need to read materials on what history is. You'll also need to respond to a series of questions about history on the discussion board, respond to one another there. And then finally, you'll need to work on, or at least explore, what it means to ask effective discussion questions. Asking effective discussion questions will be the heart and soul of our work on the discussion board this semester. So here in this unit, we're going to work together to think about how to best do that. Um, I'm going to say a couple of things about that particular part of the unit, that module, because I get questions about that quite frequently, and I don't know how to better explain it in writing than the way that I've already done it. So there are a couple of steps in the effective discussion questions module for this unit. First, you need to read some sources about asking effective questions. I've also made a note about avoiding counterfactual or hypothetical questions. Those are the kinds of things where we ask, what would have happened if the Pueblo Revolt had not succeeded? That is a good question for fomenting discussion in a lot of ways, but the problem is oftentimes when we respond to those kinds of questions, because they're hypothetical or counterfactual, we don't actually draw on evidence from the readings. We don't incorporate facts and ideas from what we've been studying. And doing that is a key part of our work on the discussion board. I hear my dog running around now. Um, Apologize, there was a slight interruption there, non-continuous part of the video. That's why I don't usually record these at home. But anyway, for the section on effective discussion questions, once you've read the materials and think through how to ask an effective discussion question, you then move on to the section about critical thinking. So you read through the materials provided there at the links. There's also a video included there. And think through what are the most important things um, about critical thinking as presented there. Why is it important to the study of history? And then pose a question on the discussion board that asks about critical thinking. So that's where you want to focus your attention, is on the critical thinking readings, thinking about how it relates to history, and then use the stuff that came before to help you pose an effective discussion question about critical thinking. Sometimes that part is a little bit confusing about what should the question be about. That's where you should focus. And then once you've done that, make sure that you respond to at least one other person's question in as much detail as you can, answering their question as best you can, and including at least one specific cited reference to the sources. So those sources in the critical reading website and video. Make a specific reference to that, use that as your evidence to support your ideas and your answer to the question that you provide. So I hope that all makes sense. And that part of the unit, that module on effective discussion questions, is helping us think about the kind of methods and process for the types of discussion questions and answers that we'll be working on throughout the rest of the term. So I hope that makes sense. Please ask questions if you have them, and I hope that you enjoy Unit 1.